did everything that I thought a man should do. Hell, I was faithful as a dog, and I saved all my love just for you. Because you were my queen on everything in this life. But you cheated and you lied, you let all love die, left me to wither on the vine. Now I'm getting high. Yeah, I like the cocaine, I like the whiskey too. And I like all of these wicked things I'm learning how to do. Yeah, and I like the dark side, and I like the wild ride, and I like the dirty girls too. Yeah, 'cause when I'm on this cocaine, I don't give a damn about you. Oh, that's a tainter, baby. I was told a man shouldn't do. Hell, I stay drunk every day, and I'm always stoned before noon. Because you were my queen on everything in this life. That's why I'm smoking all this rock, to kill all these thoughts and burn you clean out of my mind. And I'm getting high. And I like the cocaine, I like the whiskey too. And I like all of these wicked things I'm learning how to do. Yeah, 'cause I like the dark side, and I like the wild ride, and I like the dirty girls too. Yeah, 'cause when I'm on this cocaine, I don't give a damn about you. Oh, real one out, son. Yeah, I like the cocaine, I like the whiskey too. All of these wicked things I'm learning how to do. Yeah, and I like the dark side, and I like the wild ride, and I like the dirty girls too. Yeah, 'cause when I'm on this cocaine, I don't give a damn about you. Yeah, I like the cocaine, I like the whiskey too. Yeah, I like all of these wicked things I'm learning how to do. Yeah, I like the dark side, and I like the wild ride, and I like the dirty girls too. Yeah, 'cause when I'm on this cocaine, I don't give a damn about you. Yeah, 'cause when I'm on this cocaine, I don't give a damn about you.
Yeah, so
Very awesome. Very cool.
it wouldn't be anything my grandma could listen to. I'd have a hard time taking it home, letting my parents hear those stories, how
Yeah.
I was telling them. So, yeah.
Tell me about your folks.
Well, my mom and dad, still together. I think, they got married in December of '72, and had my dad join I say he joined, drafted into the military. Joined the air, was in the Air Force, and traveled all over the world. Ended up here in Fort Worth after living Colorado Springs, Albuquerque, New Mexico, been overseas. I was actually born in Alaska, so yeah, it's kind of everywhere. But mom and dad are still together, man. They are, I mean, a lot of ups and downs, and but they are the textbook, folks. Yeah, I mean, it just they're probably boring to most people. They stay home a lot, and they are homebodies. I did get my parents out not too long ago, and took them bar hopping with us. They had a great time, and something that they had never done before.
Do mom and dad even drink?
They do not. I say that, but Melissa and I are such bad influences that we have kind of taken them to take part in the wine drinking a little bit every now and then. But not nothing that alcohol. Growing up, alcohol was not allowed in my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't. I think the first time I ever even had a beer, man, was I think it was 15.
Okay.
Had a beer, hated it. Didn't really drink much until I started driving a beer truck. So straight out of high school.
That's awesome.
That was about when when I started drinking, because it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't allowed in my house. I knew my brother. He was a couple years older than me. He was in college, and it wasn't really enticing when he was coming home puking, and when you see that, it's like, ooh, it's just not something that.
Yeah.
So I've never been one to drink to get hammered, and I like to kind of
remember everything.
Yes, there's nothing worse than forgetting.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time remembering things when I'm sober. So I don't need help trying to. I don't need to drown anything in alcohol.
Yeah.
So.
I finally figured that out too.
Well, and I know that, congratulations on your, what is it, 400 and...
Cool, thank you. Today's 449.
449.
449
That's
days
huge.
Sober.
So what were you, during your whole, I guess you're coming to reason of man, I got to get sober. What was the biggest things in your life that were contributing to, man, I've got to change. I've got to...
I don't know.
I mean, you weren't like out sleeping with like random women all every night, and like just going to drink to get hammered, and like.
No, I was through that phase. That was the majority of my 20s, was work hard, play hard, buy toys,
right,
party. Then in my 30s, it was just more. Once I got in my 30s, I guess it was just more a way of life. Well, I'm successful. I felt successful. So if as you get older, you make more money, you get more things, you buy more stuff, so you don't think you're doing anything wrong. So I didn't think I had a problem drinking, even though I'd quit going out every night. I'd quit drinking and driving. I started taking Uber. I started being responsible.
Sure.
It's like I don't really have a drinking problem, but it wasn't that I had a drinking problem to the point where I was passing out or getting sick or drinking at work. Like, I never drink at work. I'm not an alcoholic to that extent. It's a different type of alcoholic, where I was using alcohol as a crutch, as a coping mechanism, as a fallback, I didn't get this done because I decided to drink instead. But I made a joke
right.
about it, like, oh, I'm not successful. Well, yeah, I'm smart, but I'd rather drink. Well, it's just an excuse to be a failure, really, is what it comes down to. I was using it as a crutch and an excuse to not put myself out there and try to reach my potential. You know what I'm saying? I was just hiding. I was scared. So once I realized that alcohol was a tool that I was using, I just replaced that tool with a more appropriate tool. And it wasn't really about the alcohol. It was just the awareness that I had a problem. And it wasn't alcohol. It was my choice to use alcohol as a tool for, what's that expression they say that when a man's only tool is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail.
Mm-hmm.
That was my
right.
good. Hey, today's a good day. Let's drink. Today's a bad day. Let's drink. Hey, it's Thursday. Hey, it's Monday. It was just.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. That was just the crutch or the coping mechanism for everything. So once I just kind of replaced that with something else that was going to produce more fruit, it was just like an easy choice. I don't even
Right.
think about drinking now. The only thing I think about drinking now is, why did I do it so long? Like,
Right.
what was I thinking I was going to gain from that? Like, did I think I was cool at the bar all the time? Did I think I was cool, like not giving a shit about anything? Did I
Right. Sure.
what was I trying to prove to who? Because none of those people from my life are here now. They're all gone.
Right.
You know, what was I trying to prove to who?
Right.
So now I'm just more equipped, better equipped for life, you know, and I was just soft, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really wasn't
So
that
do you ever see yourself going back to, like, okay, you know, I'm grown up now, and I realize I don't need. I see my moment of clarity is all around me. You know, is there that I'm going to go mow the grass and have a beer afterwards? Do you see that in your life anymore, or is it just totally? Do you see it as just this negative energy that I will always stay away from no matter what, because it could possibly jump back, you know, the demon jumps back in and it takes over. I mean, do you see that ever happening in your life?
No, because like I said, I understand it better now. It was never alcohol. It was always me.
Right.
I was the demon. I'm the demon. I'm the problem.
It's how you use it, right?
Yeah. I was just using it, you know, like, so I've set some goals in my life. And once I get to those goals, I
Right.
will absolutely drink again, because I won't be the same person.
Yeah.
I will be the person that I want to be, instead of drowning all the reasons why I'm not who I want to be. You know what I'm saying? So I do, when I see myself in 10, 15, 20 years, when I retire, or when I get, like I said, once I reach those goals, I don't know how long it's going to take. It might take 2 years, might take 25, I don't know. But once I get there, and
Right.
of course I see myself taking my wife out for dinner and having a glass of wine. Of course when we go visit a beach and we're sitting somewhere, of course I want to have a beer. I mean, that's the worst part. Is the last 6 months before I quit drinking was when I really started trying different beers, trying different wine, and I really got exploring. I really started to enjoy alcohol as a, without it being a party tool. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it sucked. I really started to enjoy it, liking the flavor of it, instead of just pounding Bud Light and Jägermeisters all the time, you know?
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I do see myself consuming alcohol again, but in a capacity that meets the occasion, not making alcohol the occasion.
Right.
But yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. But that's the goal. That's the...
I can't wait to see you celebrate. You celebrating.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be epic.
That's
it's gonna
cool.
be epic. And I'll probably have a glass of wine or two, and probably wake up with a nasty hangover the next day.
Yeah. And then and go back to, what the hell was I? Why did I want to do this?
Yeah, that wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it just make you remember all those days when you're.
And like today, I woke up no hangover, none, and I have the whole day to do whatever I want. Just the freedom from alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Man, I'm sorry that you went through your life and like that, because I mean, I think it's hard for somebody who's never been an alcoholic or had this crutch, right?
Sure.
I smoked since I was 14, all the way up until September 1st of 2010, right?
Yep.
So however many years that is. It was easy. It's easy for me to quit. It's easy for me to do. I mean, I'm not saying that, I still every now and then after dinner still go from a pack of cigarettes in my pocket.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't smoked in almost 10 years.
Yeah.
On a daily. And I still, when you get a full gut, I still go for that cigarette.
Yeah.
That I don't even,
That hasn't been there.
that hasn't even been a part of my life in so long. So I can't imagine somebody who just having only a nicotine addiction, how somebody with alcoholism or heroin or things that are really, really deep. But I also didn't have things in my life that happened to me that were as negative. A lot of people that deal with addiction have been molested as children.
Sure.
Sexual abuse, child abuse, emotional abuse, whatever it be. People look to cope with different things, right?
Absolutely.
So I've never experienced that. So you kind of put a light on, why is it that you were doing the things that you were doing. I think it's pretty noble that you're talking about it.
Well, it's scary for me because you have to want it. First of all, you have to want to do it. Like when you wanted to quit smoking, you couldn't just lazily quit smoking.
Right.
It's not easy for anybody. But,
absolutely.
I don't even know why I said that, but what was I thinking about? I got sidetracked whenever I said that.
I was talking about the negative emotional things that keep you
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's dealt a different hand, and everybody finds different ways to cope with stuff. And for whatever reason, like I don't know if it was the role models I had in my life or what, but alcohol was it. Alcohol was it. I don't know.
Yeah. I just it's hard for me to fathom waking up every day. And I'm not saying that, Saturday nights weren't the night for me to party, but knock on wood, man, I've never, we've all done things, I've probably gotten behind the wheel of a vehicle knowing that I shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a vehicle and got lucky and I got home safe and I didn't hurt anybody. We all do those stupid things, man, in our 20s. Nobody's perfect. I never had to face the consequences of doing those things, and nobody faces the consequences of doing those things until they get caught, or they do something, to hurt somebody else. And most people get lucky, and a lot of people don't.
Right.
So, but I, doing those things throughout my life. I mean, Saturday nights were, it's time to party, but I always felt like growing up with the parents that I did. In the upraising that I did, and I'm one of the very few people that I know that their parents are still together.
Right.
That I wasn't a, every other weekend dad, a child over here like I am now. I'm a divorced parent. I've been with, Melissa now for 10 years, and without her, I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably be in the same boat as. I wasn't going down a good road, after my divorce. But I knew then that I didn't want to be, out of control. I didn't want to be in this wild, place. I always felt like I knew that my responsibility, and I knew what it was, and just having great parents, and I'm probably jumping around, but I didn't feel like I had more on my shoulders. So I couldn't. I was 19. When I graduated high school, I moved out a week later and moved in with
Is that by choice?
High school girlfriend. Yes,
okay.
By choice.
Okay.
So the one thing that my dad told me when I came home and said, "Hey, we got an apartment." And he goes, "You sure you want to do that?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to do that because I'm 18, man. I know everything."
Of course.
I knew everything.
Yeah,
man. I'm still the smartest I've ever been, right? Even at 18. So he says, "You sure you want to do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do that. I want to. Yeah, this is what I want to do." He said, "Well, once you pack your stuff and you go, there's no coming back."
I like that he did that.
Right?
He put it on you. He put it on you.
And I can tell you, at 43, I have never, except to go back to visit, right? I've never moved in with my mom and dad.
Right
like
on.
I made it.
Right on.
So, yeah, because I can tell you that when my dad says something, he means it.
Yeah. So you figured it out.
Yeah. So at 18, I start driving a beer truck. I had a few other jobs. I was actually a mechanic at Firestone for a little bit, and when I say mechanic, it means general service, right? So changing oil, and doing that kind of stuff. But I started driving this beer truck. I worked for Coors, and I soon got married a year after high school. But it really made me feel like I was grown You know, I mean, here I have this awesome job, and I'm making money, and I have insurance, and all these great things that friends of mine didn't have.
Right.
You know, how many 18-year-olds do you know that are out, you know, getting up and going to work at 6 a.m., not getting home until 11 o'clock at night. They're making great money. They got 2 brand new cars in the driveway and a house. They've already bought a house. I bought a house at 19.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just something to be proud of. I always felt like that. But with that came responsibility and the things that I missed out on. You know, so while my friends are out partying and having a great time, I wasn't doing that.
Right.
So I end up, you know, at 33, getting divorced for the second time, this time with 2 kids. And it didn't hurt the first time. I don't even really think that divorce and splitting up with my ex-wife, my second ex-wife, isn't that sad that you say my second ex-wife? That didn't hurt as much as just not having my boys around every day. You know, that's what really killed me. And so I started partying, you know, just behavior that just was not me. You know, I was lost. And
What were you looking for?
just a void that there's nothing more, especially a dad who wants to be in their children's lives, who wants to be a part of their growing up, and they're a part of, you know, putting them to bed at night, you know, waking them up in the morning, you know, seeing their messy hair and helping them brush their teeth and getting them ready for school. You know, this world just thinks about, you know, moms, like moms only need that, you know, and the mom is only deserving of having that every day. There's a lot more men out there who love seeing, you know, being a part of their kids' lives and don't have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know, because I mean, we can get into a whole debate about state and the way the system is set up.
Oh,
It's
boy.
just, it's
Oh boy.
it's bullshit.
It's crazy.
You know, it is.
It's insane.
And so, but just, you know, that to fill that void is really where because I didn't feel like here I was a dad, and now I'm not a dad anymore. Now I'm just an every other weekend babysitter. That is what I felt like. And so as time went on, you know, there was a black hole that just kind of eats at you and eats at you and eats at you. So, you know, you start doing things that you would normally do to try to, it's almost like a high. You're trying to get a high, you know?
Yeah.
And I was doing it with women and booze, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? I felt like
Just any sort of stimulation.
yeah, I felt like a horrible Waylon Jennings song, man. It was just, I mean, I love Waylon Jennings, by the way. So, but I mean, I'm just that feeling that, you know, that comes along with just emptiness and heartbreak.
Yeah.
You know, that's really where, you know, where it stemmed from. I think that's where I was really trying to get that filled.
How long did that go on?
Let's see. We split up in November. It went on for almost it was bad for about 8 months.
Yeah.
8 months was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was really bad. And I kind of came out of it, and I was like, I don't want this. And when I started kind of getting to where I was like back to normal, it was when I hit rock bottom. Now, during this time, a lot of negative things had happened, and it was just kind of funny that, and I don't know if it's divine intervention, you know, that makes this happen, but I was working for Pepsi for 11, 12, 13 years, whatever it was. At the end of 2008, I was laid off. Ended up separating from our marriage in April that next year, right? So we were kind of in a recession at that point. Like things weren't good,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Employment was down, just a lot of changes. And so, man, it took me a long time to find employment. Well, I did. And 2 months later, she's like, "You're out," you know. So that wasn't good. And I ended up making it until September before, you know, they end up cutting me loose because the company didn't need me. So now during all that, you know, and it could have been partly because, I mean, I wasn't really focused in 100% on my job, which I should have been. But, yeah, I mean, I found myself unemployed at the beginning of September of that year. And, I was unemployed all the way up until, you know, for another 3 months.
Oh, wow.
You know, so, in December, I had this, I wouldn't say an epiphany. It's just a wake up, you know, when you go from making $90,000 a year to taking an $8 an hour job, you know, to try to rebuild yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I cut all the bullshit out of my life and started really realizing I've got to focus, man. I don't want to be down here having nothing. I'm living in a pretty much an little efficiency apartment in Cleburne, of all places. Knowing that's not where I wanted to be. It's not where I wanted to bring up my kids. It's not how I wanted to bring up my kids. But it was tough, man. Trying to swallow your pride for an $8 an hour job driving a parts truck, you know, to oil field, man, dude, that takes you down a few notches and you learn humility really fast.
Yeah.
But I was there about, you know, when I was there a month, because at this time working for this company, I had to come in as a temp, you know, and driving this truck for $8 an hour. But I ended up doing well, man. I sold a lot of parts, extra parts for the company off this truck. And they're like, "Hey, why don't you come on full time, you know, and make $36,000 a year?" I'm like, it's better than nothing at this point, right? So
better than $8.
Yeah. So I, you know, I did that for a year, and see, that was I'd met Melissa not long after that. And that's when things just started kind of getting better, you know. With her, you know, it was kind of getting her. She recently was going through a divorce as well, and she kind of needed a distraction in her life, you know. And
where'd y'all meet?
That is a whole. I'm gonna put a bookmark right there. We're gonna come back to that.
Right on.
But I'll get back to, you know, this job, and I ended up doing, you know, kind of picking myself up and doing well.
Right on.
And I, you know, I was really long term. I mean, it was a really small company. It was, you know, working in the oil field industry, and so that, you know, it's never guaranteed. You know, so they were picking up. They went, you know, and left, and I'm kind of left holding the bag. You know, like, man, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Sounds like a really good time to go on the road with a band. so that's kind of how that ended up. But yeah, so it, you know, it was tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough being like that. But, you know, going back to the Melissa, I kind of get a light in my eye when I talk about her, don't I? Do you see it? There's like a little sparkle.
I mean, yeah, you try to bring her up every chance you get.
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop talking about her.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. No, she's
Guys
great.
don't do that enough. When they have somebody, they don't talk. This is the weird thing. Every guy I know talks the worst shit about their wives when they're not around, and I hate it. I can't stand it.
Really?
I don't like it. Why? Why are you married to her? She's taking care of you. She's taking care of your kids. She
Right.
works. She takes care of the house. What are you bitching about? And they just can't wait to shit talk them. I don't understand that. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Not into that.
I don't. You know, I can't even remember bad talking my ex-wife when when we were married. I don't understand how guys.
I'm not.
Why people would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things. That's kind of a turn off about people. But yeah. And I don't mean to bring her up every chance I get, but she has done a lot for me in my life, and for a woman, being a step parent is probably the hardest thing you could ever do. And I can tell you that my boys love her as much as I believe, as much as they love their own mother, and I really feel like they reciprocate those same feelings.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Toward she reciprocates those feelings towards those boys, and she's just great. But we met, man. It was kind of weird. So during this really ominous, dark period in my life, I had put this profile out on Plenty of Fish, right?
Right on.
And because it was really easy to reel in chicks that way, right? Yeah, there's a lot of fish out there, so you got to catch them. And never really been a good fisherman, but I did okay on Plenty of Fish.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding. I really didn't. But we ended up. I hadn't, the past since that November, when right before I kind of found this $8 an hour job, and I found the light, right, that I got to fix my life because this isn't working. Mm-hmm. So I stopped all that. Like I just kind of stopped. And one day, I'm on my way to work and I get this message. And it's like, ding, you have a Plenty of Fish message, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I kind of show up for work. I'm there early. So I'm sitting in the truck and I'm waiting on them to unlock the doors, and it's dark outside, and I opened this up on my phone, and it's kind of a joking message. So I had a picture on there of myself with Stoney LaRue, right?
Okay.
And she's like, hey, I don't know what what the message exactly was, but it was funny. She said something about myself with Stoney, and she goes, I love this picture, but she had something really. She always has something funny to say.
Something clever.
Everything. Yes, always clever, witty and clever.
That's good.
And so I was like, haha, this and that. So it was kind of one of those things where you just kind of go back and forth, throughout the day, and I see this picture, man, and I'm just like, this girl's like. I don't see myself as somebody. I never have. I'm like a 4. So I'm a 4. So I don't get women who are like 8s, 9s, 10s, So
4. Get out.
Yeah. So I mean, and nobody's perfect. So Melissa's always been that 9. You know what I mean? And I've always looked at this, and I'm like, man, I have way outpunted my coverage on this whole deal. And so she's talking to me, and come to find out, funny story is I've met Melissa a few times in the past.
Oh, okay.
So Melissa grew up right here in Crowley.
Okay.
She went to Crowley High School down the street. And one of her close friends her best friend, Michelle, is the sister of my brother's ex-wife. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So my ex-sister-in-law, they're sisters.
Okay.
All right? The best friend. So then it gets even crazier, man. So I first get divorced from my first wife. Okay. This is really going to confuse listeners, man, trying to keep up with how many relationships.
I hope they
I've
didn't
had.
smoke as much as I did because they'll never be able to keep up.
Yeah. Are you able to keep up?
I'm with you now.
Okay,
yeah,
you did
yeah,
good?
Yeah,
And we're on the same page?
I'm winding down. Yeah.
Okay, good. Did I have you like freaking out for a while?
No,
okay.
no.
It's too
I
bad.
used to get like crazy stoned anxiety when I was around people, but now I realize that I'm the only one that realizes that I'm high. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
I'll space out or I'll lose track of what I'm talking about, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm getting old anyway.
It's been so long since I've been high that
Yeah.
it's hard for me to fathom like what's going through your head right now. But I remember thinking a long time ago, I was like, wait, I can see people thinking, like they're looking at me. Like, do they look? They're thinking.
Do they know I'm high? Do
Do they know I'm high?
you remember Friday?
Yeah.
Do I still look high?
Do I? Yeah. How about now? Yeah. So anyway, the crazy story. Going back to Melissa. There, I had. She was hosting. Michelle was hosting. Melissa's best friend was hosting a baby shower at their house for my brother and his wife. And I remember thinking, like, this chick over here that's sitting on next to this fireplace, dude, she's like hot,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And you were recently single, right?
I'm recently single.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm like,
So your radar's on.
yeah, she's hot. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Every time that I've ever been single, like, my radar was always on.
Right.
But I was really, what I was thinking was like, man, what is she doing with this? Like, she's got a wedding ring on, right? So buzzkill right there.
Oh yeah.
And then just kind of the animosity about it. I'm just like, what is she doing with that dorky guy? Like, what a tool, you know?
So she's with a 3.
Yeah,
And
she's with the
you're not
three.
happy about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've got
You're
more
like,
to offer
wait a
than
minute,
that.
something's
Yeah.
wrong here.
Yeah, I've got more to offer than that. So, why would she want me? You know? So,
But you
so
remember.
yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, Melissa was unforgettable. She still is. So if you ever meet Melissa, you don't forget Melissa,
Okay.
right?
That's awesome.
You don't.
That's awesome.
She's, yeah. Melissa has this thing about her. You will fall in love with her. Like, she's just a great, great person. Big heart. But so being a 4, I have to draw in the other 4, right, at the baby shower, and I end up marrying that one.
Oh, damn. Gotcha. Okay.
See where I'm at now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're at this couple's baby shower deal. I show up, single guy, for my brother. I see a hot chick. I'm like, man, it still would have been cool if I'd have gone, man, one day I'm gonna have that. Like, one day I'm gonna have that.
And held out.
Yeah, and then held out, and then 11 years later, you know.
There you go. Took 11 years. That was 11 years before.
Let's see. So yeah. So we're talking. Wait, no. I'm lying. So 10 years.
Wow.
10 years, man. Yeah.
At what point in that 10 years did she get divorced?
Which time?
Oh, so she got rid of number 3. 'Cause she got rid
So
of
she
3.
got the 3. And then she upgraded to a 4. You know.
So you're still in the running. So
I'm good.
Well, by this time you're working. You're at a 5.
Yeah, because now I've slimmed out, and I'm, and
you're back in this.
I'm in the game.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
you're
should
a
be
contender.
really a 6.
You're a contender.
You know.
Yeah.
But so she ends up marrying, another guy, and
Okay.
it doesn't work out, and that's when she was kind of when we had met back up. So really, the funny story about how we meet back up is even better than. She invites me. So we're texting and we're going back and forth,
Okay.
right, for a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, yeah, I want to say it's been a few weeks.
Okay. Are both of y'all just kind of playing it safe, or are you too far away working in the oil field? Like, what's the
No,
story?
so I'm living in Cleveland and I work in Granbury. At this time, she's living over in West Arlington, East Fort Worth, that area
Okay.
up there off East Chase Parkway. So she's living over there. She's got her 2 boys. I mean, it's just kind of timing, right? So one evening, she's like, "Hey, why don't you meet us for happy hour? I'm meeting some girls over at On the Border, right? So let's meet up. Why don't you come out?" I unfortunately was busy that day, and she said, "I'm meeting, a couple of my friends," and I was like, "Well, all right, cool, But I think I was doing my taxes or something like that. I was meeting
Something
tax
way
lady.
more important.
Right? Well, yeah. Well, when you're broke, and it's kind of a big deal, and you don't want to tell this nice young lady that I don't have any money to begin with, but
Gotta let her down easy.
not with an $8 an hour job.
Gotta let her down easy.
Yeah. So I didn't want to show up and have to pay for drinks.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not good timing.
Yeah.
So she ultimately says, "Hey, come eat." I said, "I can't." And I get a text a little while later, and she's like, "Hey, do you have a brother named Jeremy?" Which I do.
And that's always an oh shit moment, right? For a guy.
Though I
Do
think
you know so and so?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, somebody got me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what happened?
I think the response was why, with a question mark. And she's like, I think you know my friends. And I was like, what? Because at this point I hadn't really put together the fact that,
I mean,
that they
she's
may know each
changed.
other.
You changed.
Right.
I mean, you look different.
We look a little different. And I mean, I've lost a lot more hair, so but so I'm like, why? And she says, "Well, do you know Melissa? Or I mean Michelle?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I'm thinking, well, she's my best friend. And now because we hadn't even had this conversation about friends. And
Right. Yeah.
Melissa and I know the same people and have hung out with the same people, just different times. Mm-hmm. So you talk about timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to come to, like, you'd think that I'd be On the Border at some point and I'd meet Melissa and then we'd start dating, right? It doesn't work out that way. It ends up, she contacts me on Plenty of Fish on a dating site, because I was cute and she wants me.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was kind of a crazy, kind of just a really crazy story. It's funny. It's funny to tell because it's like, man, is that divine intervention, man?
Exactly. How things unfold.
Is that really, when people talk about fate, do you believe in fate and this and that, and love at first sight and all that?
Right.
Yeah, because the moment I saw her, now we didn't meet up that day, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
She was working 3 jobs. She had a house cleaning business, and she also worked at a bakery in the morning, and I think she was doing something else, maybe not, but I was like, you know what? I have a rig over there next to her bakery. It's really close. I'm gonna stop in and get donuts. Right
there, you go.
And so, went over and right now I'm only dealing with a picture. I think it was the next day, as a matter of fact, after this happy hour deal that I'm like, I'm gonna go. I gotta go see this.
We gotta figure this.
Yeah,
out.
I gotta figure this out.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And she comes out in her little white scrubs and her hair's all up, on top of her head. Man, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Right.
God, she's just knocked down gorgeous, man. She's killer. But yeah, so it's
my question would be, well, I have a lot of questions, but what was wrong with the first 2 boneheads that let her get away?
I don't. Well, this last one, I mean, it was kind of for lack of better words, man, it was just an emotional beating on her.
Yeah.
The guy's narcissistic, just jack off. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of issues in that. But you know, we all do things that we're not proud of. Excuse me. And I know that in my first 2 marriages, I wasn't 100% faithful, you know, and that was kind of how her first one ends. Now, I don't know if that she would like that information being thrown out there, but I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that you're going to leave somebody for, you're not going to end up staying with them.
Right.
It's usually the way the house of cards falls.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
So she left. She left her ex-husband for the next one. Sorry, I get this. Something caught my throat. So she left the first one for the second one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you could have had her at the baby shower.
Maybe.
You just didn't
Awesome.
swing?
I just didn't play the cards right.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it was because my parents were there. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
really hard, you
Yeah.
know, to do that. But I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good story, though. I like that.
But she's really a great person. I don't know where I'd be without her. I mean, I'd probably be down that dark hole.
You'd be on Plenty of Fish.
Probably would. Yeah, I don't. You know, it was kind of crazy because she wasn't really. I was just a distraction. You know, it was another year before, you know, I think that she was really into the commitment of this relationship, because it was kind of really flaky,
Yeah.
on and off, you know, for that. But
What finally got her on board? The charm?
must be my good looks. I turned into a 9. You know, that's what happened.
Compound interest?
Yes. No, I don't know. I don't know, but I can honestly say that I don't think I've ever been loved for truly who I ever really was in a relationship, and I feel like I am. I've never been able to be 100% me and honest about who I am as I am with her. Like, it's these, dude. I hope that you experience that. I hope everybody at least could experience that in their life, because when you're both really honest about everything, dude, love comes easy. It shouldn't be hard,
Yeah.
you know.
I agree
So-
with that 100%. I never understood. Now, I understand life isn't easy. Things are going to happen, but I never understood why a relationship was meant to be hard. Well, you have to work on it. I don't understand why you have to
You
work
shouldn't.
on it, you know?
You
I'm
shouldn't.
not saying you...
Now, things aren't perfect. Things aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have bad days. She has bad days. We're not always on the same page, but we get there.
Yeah.
We end up
Yeah.
by the end of the week,
Yeah.
we're good.
You're coming together.
Yeah, we're coming together.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're still two different people
Yeah.
with two different
Yeah.
dreams and outlooks and
Yeah.
you know,
Perspectives.
perspectives on everything. And what I do may not be how she handles it. You know, but we always come to terms on what it really ends up being.
Communication.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and she financially supports me, so I have to kind of stay there, do that.
You have to be a good boy.
I have to be a good boy. Yeah, but no, she's good people, man.
That's
It's
awesome.
good people.
That's awesome. I'm glad you found that, because that, like, the way you describe it, man, that's awesome. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So, what is a single guy like you still being single? I mean, you got clarity. Your head's on straight. You know where you got 3 awesome dogs. So dogs automatically get you chicks right there. So what is it with you, man? What?
You know, I actually, that's funny you say that, because the Christy that was here on Thursday that did the other episodes, same question, you know, and I'm like, I'm just about finished putting myself back together. That's pretty much the answer I gave her. I'm almost there.
You're almost there. Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I was broken there for a while, and that I finally like I told her, I finally realized that in relationship, it finally dawned on me that they're having to put up with me too. Like I had no self-awareness in a relationship or whatever, sexual escapade I was on at the time. Like I was always looking for the red flags and the flaws, and I never dawned on me that they were putting up with me and my red flags and flaws and blah, blah, blah. So I finally put that together, and like I told you, all the reading and stuff I did, it just changed my perspective on how I want to be treated and what I'm looking for. Because when I was broken, I was looking for broken people, and that's what you end up with. You don't accidentally end up with somebody great when you're broken. You just you attract what you are. So I don't know. Now that I'm kind of getting myself back together, yeah, I mean, I'm probably ready to get back out there. I want to find somebody, but it's going to be different this time, and not having those role models on how to act and how to do that and how to do this and how to how to do certain things. You got to figure it out on your own, and it took a lot of time alone to figure that out.
So what are you looking for? What do you like in Matt's eye of the perfect chick?
Yeah.
Right. What is Matt looking for?
Oh my goodness, that's
because we all know, like you got this criteria, right, of what you see.
Yeah.
And so, what is it you're looking for? What are your deal breakers? That's the biggest thing. Is like what is the biggest things of a no that you would see in a woman?
Yeah. So, man, it just as you ask me those questions, I just think of how much those answers have changed over over the recent years. Like what you would.
That's hilarious.
If you would have asked me that 5 years ago, it'd be completely different than what I'd say today. But deal breakers, and again, it's changed a lot. I would say deal breakers right now, any sort of drama or lack of ambition or closed-minded is just completely off the table. Somebody that's closed-minded, I can't. When somebody has blinders on to life or anything, or anything, if somebody has blinders on, I can't do it. It's depressing to watch somebody bulldoze their way through life, instead of enjoy it. And I can see it because that's what I was. I had blinders on. I know what it's like. So, but yeah, so somebody that's unconscious, that I couldn't deal with that. Yeah, drama, stuff like that. I'm too old for that. I'm ready for something. I've got problems. I've got issues. I'm still working through stuff, but yeah, I would think closed-minded's the main one.
Really?
Yeah, I can't deal with that. And that's something else we were talking about the other night. We were talking about age difference because she likes younger men. I told her I can't date younger women. I can't. It's not even close. As soon as they open their mouth, I completely lose interest. Like, we don't have anything to talk about. I'm more interested in what we have to talk about now.
So, FYI, Matt's deal breaker is stupidity.
Yeah, throw that in there.
That is
true.
Just
that's true.
Still be an idiot.
Yeah, I can't deal with it. But yeah, I don't know. My deal breaker list is getting shorter and shorter because I'm learning, like you said, to accept people for who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that acceptance that she has of you and that you have of her is like, I'm learning to take the time to get to know somebody on that level as opposed to everything being so superficial and searching for perfection. Nobody's perfect. It's not about finding a perfect person. It's about understanding the other person, not about what's that expression? Women aren't meant to be understood. They're meant to be loved or whatever. But I try to understand. Like, I want to understand where you're coming from. I want to understand your perspective. Where before,
well, as soon as you figure out and understand a woman, please, let's do another podcast and you do a...
Well, at least understand where they're coming from, so I can and listen to them long enough to understand where they're coming from. Because before, I didn't even care to listen. I was just so busy being right that I didn't care what their perspective was. I thought, since I had a perspective, that mine was right. So, me keeping an open mind is helpful too. So yeah, but yeah, deal breaker stupidity. That's up there.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I couldn't go back into the dating scene, man. There's no way.
Oh man, and see, that's the thing is I don't even know how to meet people because I did online dating for so long. I traveled, I did online dating forever, and it was helpful. But now I'm like, okay, I'm getting closer.
Stay away from Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm getting closer to 40. I'm not looking for that type of relationship.
Yeah.
But the thing is like I know people. Like 2 of my best friends got married off of online dating. 2 of them.
Well, I say that, and I say that if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have really had Melissa probably come back.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So it's that sliver of hope that
Yeah,
it's a
but
possibility.
I mean, if you think about it, now online dating is pretty much the only way you can meet people.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that I've ever met in a bar, I don't even talk to anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think
you
it's
know?
helpful for women too because they have the ability to screen you better. Like women don't want strange dudes. I don't think, I could be wrong. I don't think most women want strange dudes coming up to them, talking to them in the bar. You know, most of the time it is girls' night or whatever. They're not out trolling for
Right.
dudes. They're not. So I think it gives women the opportunity to screen you a little bit. Like, what is this guy about? What's his behavior? What's he going to say to me in a message? You know, it might preempt of something else, you know? So
Right.
I think it's helpful for women, but still, I don't know what to say. I mean,
I'm pretty sure that from what I understand is even on the internet, like when they're on those sites, like there's just creepy dudes who are like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You don't talk to me. You know, I'm not
Oh,
good
yeah.
enough for you." So
yeah.
I'm sure that, which is probably almost what goes on in real life. With I'm not a woman, so obviously I don't know how that whole thing with men works. But,
Right.
You know, I can only imagine that it's got to be a beating.
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
that's
you
what the-
you hang out, you know, men, you hang out with men, you know how we
Yeah.
are, and you know where you are, like in the scale of good to bad. You know where you fall. And you
Four.
know all
I'm
those,
four.
but you know what all those bad dudes are up to. You know how they talk to women, how they treat them. So,
Right.
yeah, can you imagine what they're gonna do behind the safety of a keyboard
Oh,
or
yeah.
a telephone? Man, they're
Yeah. Just brutal.
yeah, yeah.
Just brutal.
I'm glad I don't have to put up with that. You're right. I'm glad I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So
So tell me more about your kids. So you said that you have two boys and then she has two kids.
yeah.
right?
So it's pretty funny. So both of our kids are 10 years apart. So
Oh, okay.
she has a 26-year-old.
Okay.
I have a 16-year-old. She has a 23-year-old, and I have a 13-year-old.
How about that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So her two, my two.
Cool.
You know, they love their, you know, stepbrother. I mean,
Right.
And now Melissa and I aren't even married. I mean, I call her my wife, just because it's, you know, we didn't live together until I think it was like 2.5 years maybe
Oh,
after
okay.
we dated, but
Okay.
and then you know, we moved in together, and then you know, we own a house together and own vehicles together, and just kind of we do live as a couple. One of these days we're going to take care of that. Like, she will have my last name. That's
Yeah.
the there is a goal.
Yeah.
We've only been engaged, I think this year is 5 years.
Only?
So only 5 years now. So it should happen pretty soon. Yeah.
Is either of you pushing the issue?
You know, neither one of us even really hardly, I mean, it's kind of like, I've been married. You've been married. You know, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
But
So there's no pressure. It's
there's
going to
no
be more like a
pressure.
fun thing you guys plan to do when the time is right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we had talked about, like, you know, we were going on a cruise this summer. You know, maybe we do it there. You know, I did try to. There was a couple of years ago. I want to say that we were in Vegas, and I really tried to get her to let a midget Elvis marry us. Yeah, they were like friends of ours were going to fly him in from San Diego on a whim. So the story starts out as 9 o'clock in the morning at Twin Peaks after we left at 6 with an $1,800 tab. You can only imagine the fun and that was going on there. But yeah, they were willing to fly this guy in and marry us. And like at first, maybe she thought it was a joke, and she was laughing along. And then I think when she realized it was serious, so she's like, "No, this isn't happening. We're not gonna do this."
Yeah. Should have shut y'all down because it would have.
Yeah, she shut it down. Yeah. She was like, "No." My parents would want to be here, or her mom would want to be here, sisters, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Her family
I was like, "Man, let's do it."
her family never would let you live that down.
Oh, yeah.
Never. You let my daughter get married in Vegas.
With a midget Elvis, I was like, "Man, that's the best." Come on. You know what? I've had a serious wedding. I've been to the Justice of the Peace. I've done them both.
Yeah.
You know. Let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Did she have two big weddings, or how'd she handle hers?
I think she did it the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I think she's had two. No, one of her marriages was, cap and gown, like she's graduating. The whole, bridal gown, everything like that. And the last one was Justice of the Peace, I believe.
Yeah.
But Melissa, the thing about Melissa has been married 3 times.
Oh, okay.
She married her high school sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And her first husband, alcohol problem.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that kind of ended the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
Met and married her second, who I saw her with.
Mm-hmm.
So, Melissa's got a year or so on me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm that younger guy.
Uh-huh.
First one that she's ever dated.
Yeah.
So,
She's trying to sow some wild oats, maybe.
yeah, well, right now, it's like, man, maybe the other ones didn't work out for her. So I'm going to try something younger, and I think it is working out.
Yeah, maybe she found the fountain of youth.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the story you tell now. So, what's the situation with you and your boys now? What's the visitation like? Is it the same every other weekend?
Well, yes. So recently, my oldest just moved in with Melissa and I.
Oh wow. Okay. How did this come to be?
Well, things weren't going real good at home.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's kind of struggling with school and I don't want to say too much, but he deals with some bipolar issues, and getting along with his mother is really kind of a hot button, and it takes 2 people, right? I'm not putting all the blame on her. It's him as well.
Right.
Of 2 people that are just incompatible.
You think they're too much alike? Usually when people argue, they're too much alike. They don't see each other they don't see it that way.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they're just both stubborn, hard-headed people that don't want to listen. Now Ethan is very strong-willed. He's trying to get him to do anything that he doesn't want to do is really hard. Now, but the issues that came up at their house, right, or at Mom's house isn't what I see at my house.
Mm-hmm.
There's a respect thing there that is not
Different culture.
Very much so. It's to a point where it got physical, and when it's physical, there's a problem.
Yeah, certainly.
He'd been, Dad, let me come live with you. Let me come live with you, Dad, please. And I wanted it to work out for them at home.
Right.
There's just, to me, it's not about money. A long time ago, I had even asked my ex-wife, I was like, hey, why don't you just let me have them, But it was a paycheck. She's so worried about losing child support money that she sacrificed years of, structure in his life, sacrificed, daily things that, I could have taught him. It was even like, I think what was the last thing? It was, you don't respect me, so you're showing him that he doesn't have to respect me. Well, I've never disrespected them or her, and at no point would I ever condone any man, woman, child, anybody to lay their hands on each other, especially coming from a male to their own mother. I don't condone that. That is not allowed. So things are twisted. It gets really twisted, and
Yeah.
that's the only drama I have in my life is there.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. It's baby mama drama.
Damn shame.
It is a damn shame, man. You know, I'm just trying to survive. Just trying to get along.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
don't create me more stress than what I already have in my own life. You know, I have to get up and go to work every day. I have a job. I have a career, and
Life's hard enough. Why do
Life
people
is hard
create
enough.
obstacles? And there you go. That's why I quit drinking. I was creating obstacles for myself. Life's hard enough. Life is hard enough.
it is. But man, I can see why you drink. You know, baby mama drama like this. You should understand what
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's been tough. But you know, my younger son, totally different, man. Just-
Right.
I have two on the polar opposites. Just not even the same
Right.
spectrum.
Right. I hear that all the time. And me and my brother are very different people. So I understand, siblings are sometimes nearly identical or they're complete polar opposites.
Well, I've got two brothers and myself.
Yeah.
I've got an older one who's a high school coach, and I have a younger one who's a superintendent of a oil field yard, and I'm kind of in between.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, those
Yeah.
two polar opposites,
And you fell in the
and
middle.
I just kind of I can drift one way or another. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's
Yeah.
I can get along. Obviously, it's kind of weird, but I'm not close with either one of my brothers really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Me and my brother aren't close either.
we're not it's not like, hey, you suck, you hate. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, see you at Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah.
And
We just don't have this. We don't have the same interests. Me and my brother don't anyway.
yeah, and I can see that, with both my brothers. I'm not my older brother, huge into sports. Like, just he can rattle off, statistics for football and baseball and players and averages and this and that, and this is what's going on in college, and this is what I have no interest. I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
My younger brother, he wants to kill things. He loves hunting and guns and which I do too. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I mean, I love going out and shooting guns and having a good time. But I'm not willing to sit for 8 hours in a deer blind, going, hey,
Yeah.
I'm ready to slaughter that next animal. It's just not me.
Yeah.
I got my own hobbies. I just want to be lazy, and every now and then just be, just want to get up and handle my yard and make sure the house looks good.
Right. Right.
I'm really kind of boring, man. I just realized that.
You're like,
Like,
wait
I
a
have
minute.
zero hobbies, man. I have zero hobbies.
No,
you know?
you were baseball yesterday. The kids. I mean.
Well, yeah. I mean, right now life's consumed with things that the kids got going on. I got
Yeah.
one kid. We're trying to start driving. The other kid is really into baseball and really consumed in that. And kids take up a lot of time.
You got to block you off some time to play your guitar once a week or something.
Oh man, you know what? I've got those things collecting dust.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad.
I know.
It's sad. I love playing, and I really miss playing in front of people.
Yeah.
Going out Thursday night when I lived in Cleburne. Going out and playing open mic shows and stuff like that on
Yeah,
Thursday
that's
nights.
awesome.
It was so much
Hey,
fun.
if you do that again, let me know. I'll go support you.
Man, if I could find an open mic show.
Don't say that. I'll find one for you.
Oh, I don't want you to find it for me. I gotta find it for us. We gotta jam. We
Dude, I
gotta
would
get up there
totally-
and do some.
I gotta find a coach or a teacher or something,
Yeah.
or I guess I can. I mean, everything's online now. I guess.
YouTube, man. You
Yeah,
know how much I've learned off YouTube.
Yeah, I can probably figure that out. And I have another friend from the dealership. He sent me some links. I was like, "Hey, who do you know that I can learn some stuff from?" And he sent me some links. So
Yeah.
I want to do
It's
just
so
get back to
easy,
practicing.
man. If you could you learn 4 chords, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I can do that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
That teacher I had, they were trying to teach me kind of sort of their style and their way, and they were teaching me more than just chords. But I learned way
Yeah,
more
everything
than chords.
I'm self-taught. Never took a lesson.
Good for
The
you.
only thing that I wish that I would be able to learn is scales, if I could get the scales down and actually, get some better finger work in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that, but just to go up and just cover songs and just sing and have a good time.
So what kind of player are you? Like, I know they'll just completely disregard the elite. Like, we're not talking about full-time rock stars, but I mean, on a player level, where would you grade yourself on skill?
That's hard.
Now,
where I was 10 years ago and where I am now.
Well, it's a perishable skill. You got to stay on top of that.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still ride a bike, but I can't pop a wheelie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can, but it's gonna go.
It's gonna go bad real quick. So, back in the day, man, I was playing. I mean, my genre of music. I mean, you're talking about covering a lot of Merle Haggard, Hank Jr.
You sing, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
I do some singing, and I mean, I'm not going on The Voice anytime soon or anything like that, but just kind of following along with some of the country greats to me, man. I mean, that's just kind of what I grew up on, and it's what has always sang to me, personally. There's nothing better than Merle Haggard. There's just nothing better than Merle Haggard. So
my mom took me to Waylon Jennings at the Astrodome.
Oh,
my very first concert ever.
Absolutely, it's the best tattoo I've got on my body. Big Waylon Jennings W on my back. It's amazing. But yeah, so it's I don't know how I rate myself. I mean, that's kind of hard. It's hard to say.
Well, I guess if you walked into a bar or a restaurant one night and a live band said, "Hey, anybody that can play guitar, come up here and play." I mean, could you fill in for somebody? Could you just? Can you just play pretty much anything, just knowing what it sounds like?
I don't do any kind of originals. I don't do anything like that. But if I know it,
okay,
I could go. Okay, this is in the key of A, and I know that these three chords go with that. Yeah. And so then you just kind of transpose into the song. Yes, I can do that.
So if you had never played a song before, could you play it if you knew what key it was in?
It would right now. It would used to yes.
Oh, okay.
Used to yes.
Okay.
Right now, no.
Okay, so that puts you far and away above my skill level. So you're like an 8 or a 9 as far as being able to play a guitar. As far as I'm concerned,
I'm a 4.
Okay, well, from where I'm standing, it looks way further away than that.
Hey, you know what? I actually watched a video the other day about this guy sitting at a piano, and he shows you, hey, if you can do this, take your finger here, 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 and here, and here, and these on this side, use these 3. You can play every song on a piano if you've never sat down, and it was so true. And I realized that, it wasn't until a few years ago that I didn't realize that the bass guitar is only the top, the strings on the bass guitar are only the top 4 strings on an acoustic guitar. Did you know that?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
So if that makes sense, I didn't realize that. Like, I'm just like, oh man, these bass players, I mean, it's really different octave or whatever, but those are the top 4 strings on the acoustic guitar just spread out and, with a deeper sound.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So to watch this guy actually sit at the piano and play these, it finally clicked like, wait, I could sit down and make myself look really good at playing the piano if I just did those couple of things.
If you spend a day to master
that trick. Yeah, because you go do 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 do, and then the keys are set up in a way on a keyboard that they're the same thing. They're just up and down.
Right.
Up and down the board. So if you want to make it sound good over here, make it sound good right here, and then move up and down. I'm like, dude, that's genius. I could be
really smart people.
I could be a Mozart, man. I could.
Yeah.
I could really impress some people with my piano playing.
Does that mean you're gonna go get a piano?
My mom plays the piano, and if one day I think I'm gonna learn how to do this, and then I'm gonna show up at her house, because my mom has like 2 pianos because, you know, it's what-
She's gonna be so pissed that you learn how to play
yeah,
piano.
yeah. She's gonna be like, "Oh my God, you're so good!"
On a
And I'm
2-minute
like,
YouTube
Oh my God,
video.
YouTube is amazing. You know,
The years of practice she put into learning that skill, she's gonna be pissed at
right?
you.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I just love music. I love music. I love everything about music. I love what music does to people. You know, I love how you've been driving down the highway and then realize that you're driving so fast because you listen to this badass Metallica song, or you're, you know, doing something that, or, you know, you're listening to something that's just rocking, and then, or that one song that comes on the radio, and then you're like, whoa, man, it just brought back my 8th grade girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love that. Or if you ever remember listening to a cassette tape,
Oh yeah.
you know, and have listened to it so much that you know the next song when the song's over on the radio, like what comes on next. You know what I mean? Like that's music, man. That is
Yeah.
what it integrates into your life, into everything that you do, and it's just awesome.
When you were using your cassette tape, do you remember trying to memorize how long you had to hold down the forward or reverse button to get to the next song, like the song you wanted to skip? So your song would end, and you didn't want to hear the next song
yeah,
or two.
yeah.
You'd memorize how long you had to hold.
Yeah,
1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
and you would just until you got it
Yeah,
damn near down.
yeah. Until it was like really high tech came along, and it fast forwarded, and it picked up where the song,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
break
yeah,
in between
yeah,
the song,
yeah, yeah.
and then it would automatically do it.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
got one of those radios, I thought it was tough shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
was
I mean, you thought technology had reached a pinnacle. You thought it was.
It couldn't get any better than
Yeah,
that, man.
it couldn't have been.
Yeah.
It took me. It probably took me a couple years to figure out how a CD worked.
Wow.
I mean, I was blown away by that. Like
I still don't know how.
I'm like, how do they put?
It's just plastic.
Yeah, how do they put music on this?
It's a plastic mirror. How does
Yeah.
this work?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But do you remember the first laser discs? Do you remember laser discs when they were? You're probably still a little young, a little younger than me, but a laser disc looked like a vinyl album does now.
Okay.
Okay. Same thing as a CD.
Right.
That's how big the DVD. It's a DVD. It's called a laser disc. I'm not kidding you. It was this big.
So it was like a vinyl record for.
It was.
real.
I'm not kidding you. You have to Google it at some point to see what I'm talking about. But laser discs were this big, and it ended up being, that's what a DVD is, right? And had the toughest quality. It was the best sound, and the player, my God, was, you know,
I'm
massive.
so glad that technology didn't last.
Yeah, and then CDs came out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, whoa. How do you get any better than this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now that they're on audio files, where does it go from here? I remember when you remember that. Do you remember maybe 15? Shoot, it could be 20 years ago now. But when the iPod came out,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely.
you know, of when, how do you fit all this music into this little thing?
I mean, do you remember the CD cases? I mean,
Yeah, I still have those. I
pages
still got
and
them.
Pages and pages.
I still can't let myself go of all my CDs.
Yeah.
You know, I have
Live Crew and.
Oh yeah, I
Tupac.
have a hard drive of more music, and it's everybody else's hard drives put together.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I've got everything you could think of, and it still blows me away that it's this big. It's down in my truck right now. It's this big. It's crazy. You can't fit
Got
this much music
every
on
song
anything.
ever made on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah. And they used to put 10 songs on a disc, CD disc.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you remember when your cassette tape got caught up in it? It would pull it out, it looked like spaghetti.
Yeah, and you had to take a
Pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it back together. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Or removing the tabs on the top so you could record on it.
Yeah, there you go. Do you remember when you wanted to like record the radio or record on a tape, you had to like
Oh, yeah.
simultaneously like push the play and record button at the same time or
Yes.
something goofy?
Yeah. Yeah. And like when you knew that your favorite song was coming on the radio, like Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
You know, when it was coming on, and you're like, oh, I gotta get this on.
Wait for the DJ to stop talking.
Yeah,
but
like,
of course
he talked over it.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're ruining it.
Like, you dick.
Yeah, I hated that.
These kids these days have no idea the struggle.
No.
They got it so easy.
No. These little bastards have no idea.
They got it so easy.
But I was out, I was busy outside playing most of the time. So,
Yeah, exactly.
With the big boom box, you carried around. You had to carry 30 D batteries with you. So
I think that's where Jinko jeans came from, was having to carry around batteries. So they had to make pants that would hold big old batteries.
Oh my God, I never wore a pair of those. That was a little after my time. But,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
So yeah, but I appreciate you inviting me here and
it's
talk
been cool.
to me.
Yeah, it's fun.
I hope people find it interesting.
Yeah.
Anything about my story is talking about myself is really, it's kind of hard for me to actually talk about myself. Right. I always get in listening, or, you always get listening to somebody else about, so I've never really told anybody kind of about my story. And I kind of feel like I still left a lot to be desired. So,
well, don't be shy.
Well, I don't really know what to say.
Well, you said you weren't much of a drinking and drugs really wasn't a big part of your life. So when you had dark moments in your life, what were they, and how did you deal with them? How did you cope with the not so good times that you had?
I dealt with most of my problems with attention from women. And I dealt with, whether drinking wasn't a problem for me. But yeah, I search for just the need to be affection is
to
really,
feel desired.
To feel desired, absolutely, and to wanting somebody to make me feel good, and I know that was where my high came from. Was scoring,
Yeah. Like, hey, I did it. Yeah.
And then you move on. Yeah.
True.
That's the true climax, right? Is, okay, cool, I got her. Now what? Now you're just at the same, you're in the same place. You're doing, the same behavior. It's destructive. You're not doing anything for anybody. You're using people. It's horrible. You need to chalk it up. No, I'm just being a guy. No, because it's not cool. You look back and you're like, man, what was I doing?
Mm-hmm.
What was I doing? It's almost like you use a person just for your own need, and you really come out with nothing still. Do
you ever think about those women and wonder what they were going through to want that at the same time? You know what I'm saying? What were they going through to put up with that or put themselves in that situation? Or were you deceptive to the point where they didn't see it coming?
I don't think I was ever deceptive.
So it was always mutual. They kind of knew it was for fun and it wasn't going to be serious. It wasn't going anywhere. And so do you ever wonder
I was never deceptive. I would never... I think that there was some mutual gratification, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I'm about to say is probably not going to be kosher with most women, but when you put yourself in a place where, you know, you open yourself up to a vulnerability of being used or being treated in a certain way. Now, I've never hit a woman. I've never laid my hands on a woman. I've never felt like I was emotionally abusive to a woman. I've never been that kind of person. But I can honestly say that I didn't treat them with respect, you know, is to get what I wanted. And I'm trying to use the right words so that you would understand, is that I wouldn't use them if I didn't feel like they wanted to be used. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's why I'm curious. Like, do you ever wonder what they were going through to let you do that? Because they were there too. They were part of it. It wasn't a one person deal. So they had to be going through.
Well, looking back,
something.
I can tell you I didn't care.
Yeah,
that's the worst part about it.
Right.
I didn't care because it's about me. It's not about you.
Yeah, you got what you wanted. You
your life might
mountain.
be shitty, but it can't be as shitty as mine. So you're still better off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a girl. You're gonna get over it. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can do better than me anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, shame on me. I didn't care.
So, did that come from a place of insecurity? Like, were you chasing that attention and affection? I know you said that, like, when you go through your darker moments, but is it basically just the core of its insecurity? Like you said, is it just you chase that feeling of women because you were insecure with yourself? Like, you didn't, like, because I know that's what I did a lot of times. You know, I wasn't strong enough to be alone, or I wasn't secure enough in myself.
I think yes. Insecurity was what it was all about. And I'm going to tell you, going from one relationship and one marriage straight into another, that's where all of it comes from. I've never learned. I moved straight out of high school in with a girlfriend, getting married, getting divorced, and almost, I'm going to say immediately, months, maybe a couple of months, maybe, of doing my own thing, and jumping into another relationship and getting married. And when that fell all apart, my inclination, my first thing was, I was angry, first off, you know, of how it all went down. But it was my own insecurity and my own knowing. I was in such a hurry that I needed to feel like I needed somebody to validate me.
Absolutely.
I had to be validated. And
sex is like the ultimate validation.
Right. You know, they want you.
Well, not to mention, like, they've made themselves as vulnerable as they can make themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you took it as far as you could go.
Yep. And yeah, so I've never been alone or by myself. And until I kind of woke up and said, hey, man, I got to stop. Man, what am I doing? Really, what am I doing? I spent a lot of time by myself. And I learned to be my own best friend. And as soon as a person can learn to like themselves and be okay with being with you and in your own mind and being your own friend, that's when it changes.
Yeah.
That's when the switch goes off and goes, you know what, man, I'm okay. Because even now, I was never okay with having me time, you know? Even though when I was in a crowded room, I still felt alone a lot. And now when you learn to be by yourself and you learn to really just kind of de-energized, and there's times where, Melissa's around and she's not home, she's at work, she's not around, and I'm like, man, I miss her, but man, I got me some me time, right? This is just kind of just me. I do what I want, how I want. Nobody's telling me, dude, I want to go in there and eat a pound of bacon. Nobody's going to tell me that I can't go in there and eat a pound of bacon, right? Now that would be destructive, very destructive behavior, which I don't condone that either. But yeah, so, I mean, it's one of those things where you just kind of, you have to learn to be okay with yourself. And when I did that, my life opened up, man. It was really kind of a, my moment of clarity.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, man, I'm okay with this. This is okay. This is cool. I got my own place. I got my own stuff. And you build that, and you then want to share it with somebody. And it wasn't just because they were there and they were spending the night. Not just sharing my bed. I want to share everything. I want to share my boys. I want to share my whole life. I want to share my dreams, my joys. It's not just about sharing the night.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was kind of.
What's your biggest fear with Melissa?
My biggest fear with Melissa. It's sad, but as we get older, man, my fear is of something happening to her. When I was younger, I never really cared about anything that I did. So it was, like I said, the destructive behavior. Everybody, probably drank a little bit too much, driving on the road, whatever. I worry about those kind of things now where I'm on the other side. I don't want somebody to hurt her, physically hurt her. I don't want I don't want her to be taken away, whether, it'd be by disease or by the hands of another or anything like that. I think that's my worst fear. But I also fear that not just for her, but I fear that for my kids. I fear that for, any of my loved ones. Throughout my life, I never really dealt with death of loved ones. I never had. I'm 43 years old. I still have all of my grandparents.
Are you serious?
Yes. And just until recently, last August, did we deal with my grandmother has stage 4 lung cancer. And, she's had umpteen strokes since then. They're in their middle 80s, and they're not going to be around for long. I say long, but life's short, man. And in the fraction, in the midst of time, we are only here for a fraction of a second.
Oh my goodness.
So it's crazy, and I haven't experienced that loss, but I have experienced the loss of many good friends. And started when I was 12 with a friend of ours who, from a different neighborhood, but friends from school. They were playing with a gun, and it ended up going off. And at 12, it was really hard to deal with, Fast forward, a few years, I lost a close friend in a motorcycle accident. And not long after that, had a friend that shot himself during a traffic stop. But other than that, there was really no other loss, and so I don't really know where I was going with that, but what your original question was. So I kind of got off on something different, but yeah, I still have all my grandparents. I've never really dealt with any loss.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I just realize all that now.
Yeah. That's the thing, is we forget to count our blessings. We take, because we're so caught up in ourselves, we forget. We think about what we don't have all the time. We're constantly thinking about what we don't have.
Right.
But you forget, like, hey, I've got it really good. I've got, my grandparents or whatever,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's...
Oh, we were talking about your what did you fear? And you said losing Melissa.
Oh, yeah,
and you started
losing
talking
Melissa,
about
that's
you
right.
hadn't felt that loss except for
Yeah,
something.
so you have to splice all that together and make that fit.
Make that make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense so that way I don't look like a
The power
blubbering idiot.
of editing.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've never really experienced loss, but that's my biggest fear, man, is losing. Because I don't really honestly know how I'm going to handle those stages of grief,
Like you don't know if you have the tools. You're not prepared for that, right?
I think I'm as much prepared as anybody else who probably would lose a family member or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes through those same stages. It's just in a degree of, how you deal with it. I know it goes back to, I never really allowed myself to love before I was on my own. After, my divorce and everything, I never really allowed myself to love anything before. I had a hard time realizing or finding that to be engaged in a relationship, a real, true, meaningful relationship like I have now. There's a maturity. I don't know if it was just immaturity or what it was. And I think it really kind of led into the other behavior of needing to feel validated, because I've never been able to even have a relationship with an animal, a pet. There was no connection, and I didn't have that connection until I learned that I was okay with myself. And then I was like, man, this is good. This is good. And I was able to, work on that. And Melissa, I really got that connection with her, and I was able to really delve into, what it meant to really love somebody. Because when people have children, as a parent, your child's born, right? And you see this baby for the first time, and there is that love right there that you have for that child was, especially for mine, was greater than no other. Like, that was the first time that I could tell you that I truly loved something in this world. It was automatic. It was at first sight, and like, it's just amazing. It really is amazing. But I was never able to find that with a significant other. I just couldn't. I couldn't. And it wasn't until that I was able to find myself and clear up and forgive me for who I was and who I didn't want to be. That was a big moment in my life. Mm-hmm. And I remember the day. It was in December of 2009 that happened. It was right before Christmas. And I remember that day like there was no other, going, you know what? I forgive myself for all the things that I did. And I was being beat down for things being held over and thrown in my face. And, I knew that wasn't who I wanted to be. It was what I've done. It's not who I am, so how do I rectify this and with myself? And as soon as I figured it out, like, I was like, okay, if I make a promise to my best friend in my own mind that this is not what I'm going to do anymore, then then this is how I'm going to move forward. And so I did it. And man, it's been nonstop ever since. I really felt like it was a big change in that day.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see your destination? Where are you going?
And that's a good question. I've done so many things, and I've been so many places, and we all have goals and we all have plans, and they change so frequently, man.
Right
that it's
on.
for me to go, where do you see yourself in 5 years, man? I don't know. But I know that I honestly will tell you that wherever I am, I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to be happy doing it. And I've never been a money-driven person. I've never been the one that I'm going to strive for that almighty dollar, right? Because I'm happy with what I have.
Right.
At the moment, man. I could pack a bag right now with a couple of shirts and a couple of pairs of pants, a pair of shoes and a toothbrush, and I could go, and I would be all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be all right doing it.
Yeah.
I don't have to have earthly, worldly things that mean nothing. It's just stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's, all the things that we acquire and strive to get. It's just stuff. It means nothing at the end. You can't take it with you. All you're doing is leaving people's stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's, your bills or your, everything that you've thought that it was worth
Mm-hmm.
spending all the time to gain. It's just stuff. And somebody else can make it. Somebody else will throw it, and they'll end up throwing it in the trash. So then it really means nothing.
Yeah, the kids are going to sell the house. They're not even going to.
Yeah, they're going to sell it, and then they have your estate sale, and it ends up, your stuff ends up in a garage sale at somebody else's house 10 years later. It's just meaningless
and
stuff.
then the money you made from all the sales is gone in a few months, and that's it. It's done.
Right.
Your entire life is evaporated in 6 months after you're dead.
Yeah. And it means absolutely nothing.
And you spent your 5 decades putting it all together or more.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
How about you? Where do you see yourself?
I don't know. I'd like to. I've been telling myself I was going to retire before 40. I'm still shooting for that. I want to be retired at 40, and not necessarily retired, but I don't want to be trading my time for money at 40.
Right. I
want to have different sources of income. So maybe that's sort of semi-retired at 40. So I'm still shooting for that. So I got about 2.5 years to figure that out. But yeah, right now my main stuff is getting out of the rat race. This is not for me.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring that out. But once I get to that point, I'd really like to start making up for lost time. I want to change the way I see myself and view myself. I want to start a dog rescue. I want to have enough money to where I can donate directly to causes that I feel are doing good things, because I feel like a lot of our money's taken from us by the government and distributed to whoever they feel it's belongs to. But I'd like to have enough money. I mean, you're talking about 30-40% of my money goes directly to that, but I'd like to have enough money where my paying taxes doesn't matter, and I've got enough left over to support, say, like I said, an animal shelter, or excuse me, or these independent organizations that are going after online predators.
Yeah.
I want to fund stuff like that. I probably couldn't do the work myself, but they need resources.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff I want to do. This whole spend 90% of my time sacrificing literally my time for a paycheck or trading time for money. I'm just over it. I just feel like I can make a bigger impact than that. So I got to get those tools to figure that out. But yeah, that's what I want to do. Is I want to make a positive impact. I want to change the negative energy I brought and make it positive.
Well, you're a smart guy, man. I think you're on the right track.
Oh man, it's hard. Like you said, once it's mastering yourself. And I tell people all the time, I was like, I know you guys see what's going on the outside. Imagine what's going on the inside up here. You know, there's a lot going on. So mastering myself has been the biggest challenge of my life. And I'm sure that is for most people, you know. It's probably easier for some and harder for others. But now that I've got an awareness and a understanding, I think I'm getting there. I'll get there a lot quicker, you know.
Yeah.
Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I've seen it, so now I'm just kind of ready to start putting all the pieces together. But like you said, the right people come in your life at the right time. And I also, with that, I feel like I've tried to keep some of the wrong people in my life for too long because I didn't trust in the process of the right people being there when they should be. And I think that slowed my progress too. But I'm ready. I'm ready for the good life, man. I'm ready to spend more time with my dogs and future wife traveling than I am, you know, answering telephones and paying bills and
all the things that come along with
yeah, I'm just not interested, you know.
adulthood.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I don't even mind the responsibility. Like I said, if I had the, you know, the time, I mean, I'd love to own and run a dog rescue. That's fun. That's work to me. That's still work. That's still, you know, getting up every day and putting your work boots on and having a day. But it's just a different outcome for me, you know. And I'm not saying that auto repair is not important. It's just, it's not as fulfilling.
Putting your time into something that you feel is worth.
Yeah.
Is worth it.
Yeah. So yeah, I dream big, but I figure if I'm trying and shooting that high, whenever I fail, I'm going to fail farther than most people because most people don't even try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was one of those people, and that's why I'm really just pissed at myself for all the time that I have wasted. You know, I wasted almost 20 years because I didn't see it. And I guess it took that whole process of that 20 years for me to see it, you know, but I wasted all that time. So now I'm like, okay, I've just burnt so much of it. Now I'm limited, and it feels more limited because, you know, I have had a lot of people die in my family. All my grandparents are deceased. My dad died at 49. My mom's beat cancer twice, and she's turning, let's see, what year is it? Oh, she's turning 60 next month. Wow. So, but she's beat cancer twice already, and she's, you know, chemo and radiation take it out of you, man. It just cuts years off the end of your life. That's just all there is to it. So there's just not a likelihood that she's going to live to see 80. You know, that's just not a reality.
Right.
But so yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready, dude.
It's around the corner, man.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Just a few more pieces have to fall into place, and I got to quit self-sabotaging. You know, like I said, I had to conquer myself and quit sabotaging myself. And now that I'm getting there, it feels good. It feels good. I do like myself now. I didn't used to, so it'll happen. It'll happen.
I spent a lot of years sabotaging myself. You know, not doing what I should have been doing. You know, doing things I shouldn't do.
Yeah, I thought I had my freedom, and I really didn't.
No, you're just locked up in your own little prison.
Yeah, many walls can cage a prison.
Yep.
And most of them are inside your own head, and I was living in a prison inside my own head for a long time, you know. So yeah, I'm excited now. I mean, I'm happy now, and I'm ready to leave like I said, a positive ripple effect across my existence instead of a negative one. Like you said, I mean, life is so short. I've wasted so much of it. I'm ready to start making up for it. Spend so much time working. I'm ready to have some fun.
Yeah. You deserve it, man.
I'm ready. It's going to be cool, too. It's going to be real cool.
So what are the questions you have for me?
What do you want for your boys?
What do I want for my boys, man? That is dude, I think the best thing, or the main thing that I want for my boys is for them to just be the best. I want them to work hard, because hard work does pay off. It does. I mean, you know, they have lived in a world of their mom doesn't work, You know, she's on welfare. She's on, or I say that, but she's on disability. For, I'm not sure really what for. I don't think
Because it's easy to get on.
because it's easy to get on, and it's better than getting up, going to work every day. You know, when you can stay in your pajamas and you get a check.
You can bring home $2,000 a
Sure.
month and be gone
Yeah.
50, 60
And
hours
when you
a
get
week.
and when you get, you know, an extra $1,600 a month in child support, you know, it's a pretty decent living.
It's pretty
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah. So I don't want them to see that and follow that path of
Mm-hmm.
laziness. I want them to get out and work. I want them to earn what they have and have a sense of pride in knowing that, you know, you create your own destiny, you know, whether it's by only just putting in what you put in and you're getting out of it, or do you or you just barely put in anything in and it's like nah, you know, like most kids today. It's participation trophies, they're not given to adults, you know. And I want them to, the biggest thing that I want for them is to realize that if you don't work for it, man, it ain't worth having. That's the biggest thing that I'm really working on right now. And I hope that, you know, that they're happy, man. I hope they find more happiness than and hope they find it easy, you know, not dealing with, you know, drama and all the things that, you know, I had to. Everybody deals with their own stuff, but, and everybody has to, but you have to own your own stuff. That's the key. If you don't own it, you'll never get past it.
No.
So
You got to take responsibility.
take responsibility. You know, say I messed up
Yeah.
when you mess up.
Yeah.
You know, and celebrate. You know, when the time comes to, it's time to celebrate. You know, to realize your wins and to celebrate your successes. But yeah, it's just really to be happy and to work hard. That's what I want for them, because it all pays off in the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and whether you're money driven or not, you know, money is not going to make you happy.
Absolutely not.
No,
People don't get it.
no. I mean, there's a lot of celebrities that have had a lot of money that take their own lives because they're not happy. So what is that telling you? You know,
It's not going to fix anything.
no, it doesn't fix nothing. You know, they were just lucky to
Mm-hmm.
make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But yeah,
that's what I
you're
want
right.
for them.
You're right. That's good. That's good. I don't know. What else you got? I'm trying to think of what else I know about you.
I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah. You did some traveling. Tell us about going on the road.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I answered
You want a cold water?
Oh no, this is fine.
Oh.
This is good. I appreciate it. So I get this. I get a message from.
And this is before you meet Melissa for the...
No, actually, I had Melissa and I were already dating
Okay.
at this time. You know, Melissa and I started dating somewhere. I think this was around February of 2012, or I'm sorry, 2010, and in March of 2011, the company that I was working for was downsizing locally, and so, you know, I got my walking papers, and I'm like, man, I gotta find something. You know, unemployment's only lasts so long. So I get a call from a friend of mine. When I worked at Pepsi, I was the special events coordinator, and worked with some Smith Music Group who put on a lot of the Cross Canadian Ragweed concerts, things in the stockyards, that sort. And he's like, hey man, I know you're looking for something. So one of our artists is looking for a road manager. He just posted on Facebook, so you got to get on there and see if you can, supplement your income. And so I did. And Jackson reached out to me and said, hey man, I'm looking just for somebody, you want to come out on the road, help us out. And it's like, sure, why not, man? How hard can this be? This will be fun.
Oh boy, was it.
Yeah. Go on the road, they said. It'll be fun, they said. So yeah, the band was awesome. Just a great group of people. There's just a lifestyle that I took it as a job. I wasn't there to party. I wasn't used to the partaking in a lot of the things that went on. And I was considered a wet blanket a lot because I did. I've got a girlfriend at home. I love her to death. The things, and let me tell you, nothing will test your temptations like sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of things, but being a friend, with your partner and being able to be honest, 100%, and say, hey, these are the things that are going on. This is what's happening. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And so people are like, man, how do you have a girlfriend, man, on the road, dude? You got stuff thrown at you all the time because you just learned to say no.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I wasn't ashamed to say no.
Yeah.
There was the bass player Damon and I really had gotten close, and so we had the quiet room. There was just there's so many stories that I could tell you, and I may have told you some of them.
I've heard
previously.
one. Yeah.
But there is just so many stories that people wouldn't believe. They just wouldn't believe it. Even you could write a book.
Yeah.
There's sometimes I wondered, why I put myself in a lot of those situations. But I took it as a job, and it did. It supplemented my income, and it was a crazy year of my life. And looking back, I'm glad I did it. It really taught me a lot about who I was and myself, and how I handled, even as a 35, 36-year-old man, how you handle peer pressure, and not, giving in to the things that my convictions of how I felt, things should be. Learning not to judge others who do want to live a life of
right.
Because I did that. I judged others for what I thought things were, not having an open mind, and realizing there's a whole nother realm of reality, and we all live in our own realm of reality. Right?
Absolutely.
My world is only this big right now.
Absolutely.
There's a whole lot of stuff going on somewhere else. So
with a whole other group of people,
with a whole other group of people,
morals, and
yes, like they're not on the same level as me. Right? And neither am I right, or are they right? Right? It's right is right and wrong is wrong, is only as far as what what the limits are.
Right.
So, yeah, it was crazy, man. It was beyond insane.
How many? So you said it was a year. So how many? Was he on tour the entire year? How many shows did y'all do?
So he does. Jack tours. At the time, he was doing over 350 shows a year.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible.
So you think there's 365 days in a year?
Yeah, that's every night, man.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Night.
Now there were times where, I'd probably say 350. It's probably more like 300. It's probably close to 300. I just remembered, we would do a couple of 2-week tours. That we were playing every night.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing something every night, and then there was times where I ended up being home pretty much Saturday. I'm sorry, coming home Sunday at some point. That was the day home. So I would be right about Sunday evening, maybe. I might get home, depending on where we were. Now, Jack was based out of Oklahoma and Wichita, Kansas at the time. So a lot of the travel was there, and then we traveled out. There was times where, like we did a show with Billy Joe Shaver, a 2-week tour with Billy Joe Shaver, and ended up driving out to, I think we were in Memphis the first night, where we would meet Jack, and that would be the first, the beginning, and then we did a whole roundabout of the whole South and came home. But so Sunday night, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then it's back Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night shows, and then traveling home again Sunday, and in the worst van you could ever imagine. Oh my God, this thing was an old Dodge. It was a 1994 Dodge van that was a conversion, and the engine compartment had something broke on it, right? So it has those deals that cover the engine.
Yeah, we call those dog houses.
So yeah, so the doghouse had a hole in it right where your foot is on the accelerator. So can you imagine it driving 70 miles an hour? This was the hottest summer, like, on record that I can remember in 2011. Like, we had like 100 and something days, it seemed like.
Epic. Yeah, we were like 2 days short of the record that year.
Yeah.
Like consecutive days over
100.
Yeah, I remember that.
And dude, this POS van, man, was just a beating. And I remember like having my foot so burnt from wearing flip-flops and driving that van, like the skin peeled off my foot. Like, it was so bad. And the cruise controls broke, so you can't really use that either. So, and then it had some kind of issue where this one part would just break constantly. We were on the road, on the side of the road so much. Frustrating. And this is coming off of, they had a bus and they parked it because it was too expensive to run diesel, and so talk about frustrating.
Oh, man.
And then we picked up random people. This is the worst part.
Oh no.
So we got Jack's roommate, who Wayne Garner, who is an up and coming musician now. Wayne's a hilarious guy, good dude. He's riding with us. They've been through 2 or 3 guitar players at this point. We've got an Argentinian dude who flew up here just to ride around with the band. Plus the whole, you've got the singer, you've got myself as the road manager and the merch guy, and you got a steel guitar player. You've got the drummer. You've got,
all in this van.
The bassist. Everybody's in this van.
Oh my.
And it's hot. There's AC is not working, It's a stink fest, man. It's so bad. It is so bad, Matt. I can't even tell you how many times I had to pull into Walgreens and tell them all to get out and go buy deodorant. Like it was that bad. Because they'd play a show the night before. They're all drunk, right? You know how that is. I had to wake them up directly out of sleep to say, come on, let's go. So everybody gets their stuff. They throw it in the van. Everybody's sleeping still, hasn't showered from the show the night before. It's disgusting.
Dude, that's brutal.
There's nothing attractive about musicians and traveling on the road. There's nothing attractive about it. And if you want to tell your kids that they want to go out on the road and be musicians, teach them good hygiene. That would be the first thing I would tell them. Make sure you have clean underwear and that you wear deodorant, because it's going to be horrible. It's going to stink. Unless you're one of those, fancy pants musicians that, doesn't struggle like somebody like Luke Bryan, who, is in a fancy bus and everybody does everything for him.
Yeah. But
Jack's not that way. Jack is a touring musician and love to be down and dirty with everybody else. He's a good guy who liked to sabotage all the good stuff, that he's had in his life.
I can relate to sabotage, so I get that.
So that's kind of how he rolls. But man, it was a blast. It was a good time. I look back on it, and I miss all the, even though I was frustrated 90% of the time at trying to manage the most unmanageable people in the world. It was a good time. It was a good time, and I met a lot of really cool people. I got to hang out with a lot of cool people.
Oh yeah, I bet.
That I would have never gotten to meet.
Do you guys still stay in contact? Do you guys communicate?
You know what? I haven't. I still in contact with the guys in the band. I did go see Jack not too long ago when he played in town, and talked to him for a little bit. And the band has changed.
Members, or did they have just grown up or changed? You mean?
The members have changed. So Dan Johnson, who played steel guitar for before he played with Hank 3, and ended up playing with Jack, and now he plays with Wayne Garner. There's a guy that's been kind of up and coming, Caleb McIntyre, the old guitarist and the bassist that I'm still close with, is now with Caleb, and they also have real jobs, right? So, but it's kind of in passing. It's not. I've grown up. And
a year was
and I have a
enough.
real job, and I have my responsibilities, and my responsibilities are to pay child support and make sure that my kids are taken care of and be a part of their life and help them grow up to be honorable men, and really focus on the relationship that I have, with my wife. And but I don't think we would be where we are if I wasn't trusted enough to go out. And that was the true testament of trust and sustainability in our relationship, was being out there and having those temptations thrown out on me, and to be able to say no, and to do what I do, do what I did, and not have all of the drama and the things that lifestyle comes with, because it does come with a lot of drama.
Oh yeah.
Every one of those members had a lot of drama, and I stayed away from that. I really steered away from that. So,
did you go into it consciously thinking that, or did it just become apparent once you got there that that's what it was going to take?
So the expectation of going out with somebody who's very fueled with anger insecurity. I was told when I first started that there was no drugs, no nothing like that.
Who said that?
Jack originally.
Oh,
Jack
okay.
was, man, there's no drugs, there's no nothing like this. It's one thing if somebody takes a bump every now and then, but that stuff's not allowed in the van. You were not traveling with any of that. That lasted for one day. So it was.
Did he relapse in one day, or was he just trying to make it sound?
No, it was one of those. I think at that time when he was looking for somebody, it's kind of like the here and now, right? Next weekend's probably going to be something totally different, but that's the here and now when I'm talking to you. And it was he had a lot of issues at home and things that were going on, with him, and it was tough. It was kind of weird, man. It was really weird because I was like, this is not what I signed up for. I did not sign up for, traveling with a bunch of 8 balls of cocaine in the console. I did not sign up for having a bunch of weed and stuff in the trailer that I'm driving, right? I did not sign up for all of this. This is not what it's supposed to be. But that's what it became. And it became, I felt like me trying to manage.
Improve a bad situation.
Yeah. You can only put lipstick on a pig for so long.
You sound like how I felt about the dealership. Like, this is not what I signed up for. If I'd have known this is what it was, I would have never done it. Again, I'm grateful for it because had not been for that, I wouldn't be.
Right.
I'm 100% on the level. But I feel you, man. I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
This is not where this was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And this is not what it was supposed to. But I hung in there.
This was not supposed to be the role I took.
Right.
on.
I hung in there because the cash was good. And money talks. And now I'm caught up in a situation where I have to.
Right.
I have to see this through one way or another because I have nothing to fall back on.
Right.
So yeah.
What was your ticket out of there?
Or
was there like an event? Was there like, what was the?
So it was really weird. One night, we played. We did a Thanksgiving show in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Let me take that back a couple days. So we had a weekend run. Started in Wichita Falls at Denim and Diamonds, and then we did
Been there.
Yeah, we did a show in Hobbs, New Mexico. Or no, what's that one near Hobbs? It's with a C.
Carlsbad.
Carlsbad. And then we were in Albuquerque. The guitarist and the drummer and everything, kind of on a whim, were like, "Hey, dude, we're gonna kind of do our own thing, and we're gonna move to Vegas, and we're leaving after the show tonight. We're gonna go to Vegas. We're just gonna live in a hotel." And but at the time, it was all kind of winding down to.
Were there shows still on the calendar?
They had some shows going on out there. They were kind of doing a West Coast tour, and I was not going to California. I knew already I'm not going to California with them. Like, it's just not happening. So the steel guitarist Damon, myself, loaded up. I followed them in my truck, pulling because I pulled a trailer. They were going to meet us out some different places, and I pulled the trailer with the equipment in it, and I was by myself. And even though I'm pulling this equipment and I'm riding solo, and it really, driving through New Mexico. I don't know if you've ever been through the real meat of New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's nothing, and it's very desolate, and it's like, man, dude, I gotta get some gas before too long because I can't see anything. Like you see in those movies, it's like that one long road, and there's like nothing around. Imagine that, and when you get to the end of the road, there's about 50 of those just lined up because it just goes on for miles and miles.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. That's what it was, and it really gave me a lot of time to think and about where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, I had something lined up. I was doing my own little contract work, with, kind of handyman
Cool.
type deal,
Cool.
and this kind of was going to fall back on. And we after that Albuquerque run, I took the trailer and I brought it back with me. They unloaded it, and I can't even remember where I put that trailer, dude. To be honest with you, I don't even know where that trailer is now. I know I didn't take it back to anybody's house, so I don't even know where that ended up. But yeah, they packed another. They packed a van, and I pulled that trailer back and left them. But with the other guys, and that was Damon's last show with Jack, and it wasn't Dan's. Dan had met up and done some other stuff with him, but yeah, it was kind of crazy. But I was done, man. And then maybe a month or two later, one of my close friends, his wife works for Mannheim, and was like, "Hey, we have this position open. You ought to come try, see if you can just apply, see what happens."
Yeah.
And
How long ago was
I was
that?
blessed, man. That was in 2012. Yeah, that was in 2012. So, I've been here 7 years, and
What's Melissa do now?
Melissa's property manager for or a leasing manager in property management for an apartment complex up in Euless.
Awesome. She
Yeah.
like it?
Yeah, she likes it. I think she works harder than probably anybody I've ever met, and takes more shit off anybody I've ever met, and probably isn't paid what she is deserved. But I think deep down inside, she enjoys it. I think she enjoys the people there, and she works long hours, and but I think she finds something rewarding about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
You're going to do this again with me sometime, aren't you?
this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Do this anytime.
Cool.
Yeah.
This has been good, man.
Is it anything that you'd want to put on a?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I'm going to put it together. Hell yeah.
right.
Hell yeah.
You-
I love this.
I get to my mind starts going different places. I'm trying to put it all together, so I kind of get to where I'm a babbling idiot. But
Oh, that's
hopefully
the-
you can.
Yeah, I get stoned and start losing track of what I'm talking about, so I get
Yeah.
sidetracked pretty easy.
Yeah. It'd be funny to get me stoned and start talking about crap. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, I'll be here. I won't let you drive, though.
No. Don't let me drive. I don't like to make those kind of mistakes. But yeah, man.
Is there anything you would want to say to people if you could leave people with something, and what would you want if you could? I stole this question from Tim Ferriss, but if you could put up a billboard and have anything you want on it, what would you have that billboard say?
Be true to yourself. And this is what I would say. Let me think about how I would word this. I would say, I would more or less say, just be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Don't live for anybody. Just live for you. Do you. Be yourself. And be kind. Just be nice to people. There's a lot of bad things out in this world, man, that don't need to happen just because people are assholes. Just be nice. Just be nice to people. You find one of my greatest returns in life is that I always just, and it's also been a downfall, is helping people. Like I love to help. I always felt like I needed to please, and I could never say no. When somebody asks you to help, No, yeah, man, I'm there. I'm always there for you. Always there for you. It's not always. It doesn't always come back for you. You know, never. It always seemed. I always felt I did more for others than they did for me, and it was a way of making myself feel validated to people. Right. So now I, you know, I do things because I want to do them, and give back. You know, I love giving back. I love the feeling of doing something good, whether it's, you know, giving a meal to a homeless man, you know, sitting on a sidewalk somewhere. Just, hey man, he didn't ask for it. He didn't beg me for it, but it makes me feel better. And I don't need to validate. You know, I don't use that as a validation. I just use that as, I'm just going to be nice. I'm just going to do something good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a role model of my kid and let him see. I'm not going to make it a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let him see that I gave to somebody in need who didn't need, you know, wasn't necessarily one of those things where, you know.
There's no big life lesson, just an observation.
Just watch me be kind. Because kids will pick up on that.
Yeah, yeah. It's as much as what they see is what they hear, you know. Right on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, I think be kind. Be kind is the biggest one.
Cool.
Be honest with yourself.
Right on.
Fixes everything. It really does.
I believe it. I believe it. I second that. I second that for sure.
Out on the road, too many easy loving strangers. I've been too easy to touch and too hard to hold. Chances won't come round too often. Chance to calm your restless soul. A chance to find someone's arms open. They're strong enough to hold and to let go. Yeah, someday all my prayers will answer. Something's better than nothing. Shallow love is better than no love at all. And I've been alone on the road so